Hello everyone, Becca here with the Wild Bunch, the YouTube design team for wildorchidcrafts.com, and today I have a project to share with you guys, so stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. Just wanted to let you guys know that all of the products from Wild Orchid Crafts that have been used in this video will be listed in the description below, as well as all of the links that you need, so be sure to check that out. So here's a quick look of the first gift we're going to be making. We're going to need a hair clip, and you can use any hair clip you have. This is just one that I had in my stash. I'm also going to be using some satin ribbon, and again you can choose different colors. And from Wild Orchid Crafts, I'm going to be using this pearl in a diamond circle, and this comes in a variety of colors as well, so you can choose what color you want to use. We'll be using a glue gun and also some scissors. So to get started, I'm just going to measure my ribbon, and the way I do this, I just place that inside my hair clip and then I fold it over, and that way I know what size I need. Then I'm going to go ahead and cut another piece of the same size. I'm going to fold the ends just so it looks a little bit neater, so I'll add a little bit of glue and then fold over the end. And then I'll add a little bit more glue to that end and place it inside my hair clip. And that's how I'll adhere that to the center. Then I'll pull my ribbon away and add a little bit more glue and adhere the end as well. And I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the top portion of that clip. And once I've done that, I'm going to add a little bit of glue to the end of the clip and then fold over my ribbon. And that's one side completed. I'm going to go ahead and do the same for the opposite side until the whole clip is covered. Then I'm going to take my pearl in a diamond circle and simply adhere that to the end of the clip. And that is the clip completed. I went ahead and made another one, so I'm going to be giving this as a pair. And to present this, I have pre-cut a piece of pattern paper to go inside a cellophane bag. And I'm going to place my hair clips on top so that I can make some tick marks with a pencil. Then I'm going to go ahead and make small little cuts with a craft knife and using a ruler as well. And be sure to erase any pencil marks left on the paper. Once you've done that, go ahead and place your paper clips on those little cuts. And then simply place this inside a bag, seal it, and there is your gift. So here's a quick look of gift number 2. For this gift, we're going to be using a glue gun. I'm also going to be using this white beanie hat or knitted hat and also some scissors. And I also have a small selection of black buttons. I'll also be using a piece of felt. So this gift could not be easier. All I'm going to do is I'm going to create a smiley face on this beanie hat with the buttons. I'm going to place 2 bigger buttons to make the eyes, and then I'm going to go ahead and use my different sized and different shaped buttons for the mouth. Once I'm happy with how that looks, I'm going to go ahead and start adhering that. And if you're good with sewing, go ahead and sew those buttons in place. It will make this hat more durable. But for the sake of this tutorial, I'm going to go ahead and just use hot glue. This will hold up fairly well as well, but it won't be as durable as if you had stitched the buttons in place. So go ahead and decide which method you want to use and then place those buttons on the hat. Now I have a rectangular piece of the felt here, and all I'm going to do is I'm going to shape this into a triangle, and on the very end I'm going to round this up just a little bit because this is going to be the snowman's nose. And then I'm going to measure that against the hat, and if I find that it's a little bit too long, I'll just go ahead and trim the end. And once I'm happy with that, I'll just adhere that in place. And once again, you can definitely stitch this in place. Once you've finished the nose, your hat is complete. So very adorable gift idea here. Very easy, very simple to make. I hope you guys like this one. And here is a quick look of the next gift we're going to be making. For this one, I'm going to be using some blank rings, and these ones are adjustable rings, and that way they can fit just about anybody. I'm going to be using two different designs here. I'll also be using these two embellishments from Wild Orchid Crafts. One is a white rose cabochon embellishment, and the other one is just some flat back pearls. I'll also be using some sellotape, some 3D liquid embossing, and you can also use glossy accent, it will do the same thing. Then I'm going to take a piece of polystyrene, and I have already made two little cuts here to fit my rings. And I'm just going to use this to prop my rings while I'm working on them. And this just helps prop them up so that they stand in the upright position. I'm going to take my liquid emboss and I'm going to add a little bit to that blank ring. And I'm going to simply place one of my rose cabochons on top. For the next ring, I want to make it into a pearl ring. So I'm going to take two flat back pearls and I'm going to add a little bit of that liquid emboss in one of them. Then I'm going to place my other pearl on top, and until this dries, it needs to be held in place. So instead of holding this with my hands, I'm just going to use a little piece of sellotape and just place that around and allow that to dry. And once it's dry, I can then go ahead and peel my sellotape, and you then have your little sphere. And then I'm going to once again add some more of that liquid embossing, and I'm going to place my pearl on top. Then I'm going to set this aside to dry completely. And I actually had another idea for a gift for a teenage girl or even an adult female. So I'm going to go ahead and share that with you guys. I'm using a blank bracelet bangle here. I'm also going to be using these rhinestone pendants from Wild Orchid Crafts. They're absolutely gorgeous. They have this beautiful gem in the center. And I'm going to be using, once again, a piece of polystyrene. And this time I'm going to prop this up on top of a box, just so it stands away from the desk. Then I'm going to go ahead and add a fair amount of that liquid emboss because I do not want my gem to just fall apart. And then I'm going to place my pendant on top and set this aside to dry. Now, to present these gifts, this is the idea that I have. You can take a small little gift box like this one, and then you need two long strips of black felt. And I've already pre-cut my felt so that it is the same width of the box. Then I'm going to take one of my strips, I'm going to add a little bit of glue to one of the ends, and then I'm going to start rolling this. When I get to the opposite end, I'll add a little bit more glue. Then I'll go ahead and do the same thing for the other strip of felt until I have two little rolls that look like this. Next, I'll take my little box and I'll place my little rolls seam down, and then I can go ahead and take my rings and place that in between. And you can choose to just give one of these away to one person and the other one can be a gift for someone else, or you can go ahead and place both of the rings in the same box and just present them like that. To present the bangle or the bracelet, I decided to go for a larger box, and I'm going to take a large piece of tissue paper and I'm going to start scrunching this up until I have this small enough to fit inside my box. I'm going to then push this down and leave the center part of the tissue up a little bit, and that way my bracelet is going to fit around it, and the bracelet will then just sit there in the tissue paper, and that's how it looks like. I hope you guys like these two ideas. And here is a quick look of what we're going to be making next. Okay, so for this gift, we're going to be using some leatherette. This is just a faux leather material. I chose a dark brown color, but you can go ahead and choose whatever color you'd like. I'm also going to be using some bronze colored jump rings, some bronze chain, and the embellishment I'm going to be using for this project is from the mixed leaf metal embellishments from Wild Orchid Crafts. I'm also going to be using these bracelet clumps, and these are the ones that have the little teeth at the end and looks like this. I'm also going to be using some lobster clasps. The pliers are not really compulsory, you can definitely do this by hand, but if you have some, go ahead and use them. I'm going to also be using a cutting mat, a craft knife, and a metal ruler. the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 long strips of my fabric. Then I'm going to take one of my jump rings and I'm going to open this, and I always open this sideways. I'm going to thread my little strip of fabric through and then close the jump ring. I'll go ahead and do that for both of the strips. Next, I'm going to take my embellishment, and I chose this leaf here. I'm going to go ahead and open another jump ring and thread it through one of the ends of the leaves. And I'm also going to add one of the straps to that jump ring and then close it. Once I've done that, I'll get another jump ring and open it. I'll pass it through my charm. I'm just using the detail on the leaf to pass my jump ring through. Then I'll go ahead and add the other side of my strap and close that jump ring. Next, I need to measure this bracelet, and of course, if you're making this for someone specifically, you need to measure this against their wrist. Pulling the fabric together like so, and then I'm going to go ahead and trim the excess. I'll take one side of my strap and get those 2 ends together. I'm going to take my bracelet clump, then I'm going to press that in place. And like I said, you can definitely do this by hand, but if you have pliers, just go ahead and use that. Then I'll go ahead and do the same on the other side. Now I'm going to take a small piece of my chain, and I'm going to add a jump ring on the end of that. And to the same jump ring, I'm going to attach one end of my bracelet, and I'll go ahead and close that jump ring. And now for the opposite side of the bracelet, I'm going to go ahead and use a lobster clasp. So I'll open my jump ring, I'll attach my little clasp to it, and then I'll also pass that through the other side of the bracelet and close the jump ring. And there's your bracelet completed. Now to present this, I have got a piece of cardstock pre-cut to fit inside of that cellophane bag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut 2 half circles on each side of this paper. Now, the way I'm doing this is I'm just taking something circular. I'm just using the inside of the sellotape here, and I'm going to mark half a circle and then cut that out. Once I've done that, I went ahead and just used that cutout piece to mark the opposite side, and that way I know that the cutouts are going to be the same size. Go ahead and erase any pencil marks, and now you can go ahead and place your bracelet around it and just close. Place that inside the bag and your gift is completed. And here is a quick look of what we're making next. So for the next gift, I'm going to be using some of this blank hair comb. I'm also going to be using these pearls in a diamond circle from Wild Orchid Crafts, as well as this ivory pearl trim, which is also from Wild Orchid Crafts. And I'm also going to be using a glue gun. And now to get started, I have already trimmed a piece of that trim to fit across the top of my comb. And I'm going to go ahead and add some glue and place that on top. And now I'm going to simply add a little bit of glue in the center of that trim and place one of my pearl in a diamond circle. And that, believe it or not, is the gift. Simply elegant. And here's how I'm going to present this. I have pre-cut a piece of pattern paper, and that fits inside the cello bag. I'm going to now make some tick marks on the sides of my comb. Then I'm going to use a craft knife just to pierce through a tiny little hole. And what I decided to do was I used a toothpick just to make those little holes look a little bit neater. So you can see here you have the perfect little hole now. Once I've done that, I'm going to cut out 4 pieces of craft wire. Then I'm going to place my comb where I want it. I'm going to fold that wire in half, and then I'm going to thread it through those 2 little holes, turn it around, and then I'm going to twist that in place. And that is going to help hold my comb in place. I'll go ahead and do that for all 4 corners of the hair comb. Once I've done that, I'll place the whole thing inside the bag, seal it, and there is your gift. And here is a quick look of what we're going to be making next. So for this gift, I'm going to be using one of these blank book markers. I'm also going to be using an embellishment from this metal embellishment pack from Wild Orchid Crafts. And I'll be using some jump rings. So here is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take one of my jump rings and I'm going to open it sideways. I'm going to attach that to the end of my book marker and then I'm going to close it. Next, I'll open another jump ring. I'll attach that to the end of my charm and also attach that to the other jump ring that I had added previously. I'll go ahead and close that and there is your gift. Very, very easy, very simple. And now to present this, I have pre-cut my pattern paper that will fit inside of that bag. I'm going to then make 2 little tick marks around the top of the marker and also 2 tick marks around the handle. I'm going to go ahead and cut through those with a craft knife and erase any pencil marks left behind. I'm going to use the toothpick once again just to make that a little bit neater. Now with 2 pieces of wire, I'm just going to go ahead and attach that in place. I'll fold that in half once again, pass it through the holes and twist it on the back. And I'll go ahead and do that for the one on the handle as well. Place it inside of my bag. And I found this bag was a little bit bigger than I wanted it to be, so I just folded the excess over the back and adhered that with some sellotape. And there is your gift. I really hope you guys enjoyed these ideas. I wanted to share ideas that you guys could make for the whole family. So please comment below and let me know. And if you have any questions, just leave them below as well. Thank you all so much for watching. I will catch you guys next time. Bye!